Hello and welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, dear practitioners, consultants, to our monthly practitioner clearing meeting. So today we have Malabika show. Hi, Malabika.
Hello.
I just wanted to thank you first for your generosity, for your kindness to be here with us and to participate in this practice so we can learn from you, from your experience. So please, can you tell us a little about yourself?
About myself, sure. I have been practicing spiritual response therapy from 2003, which I think makes it about 19 years now, which even I get a little shocked when I count the numbers. It's been one of the most wonderful things that I've done in my life. It has really taught me to move forward in my own spiritual journey. And the beautiful thing with spiritual response therapy is that as I practice it, as I get deeper into understanding, it opens the door for so many other things, which is really spirit telling you this is the path that you must take. And with great joy, I jump in and do what I feel guided that I should do. I started to teach in 2006. It was not easy in the beginning. It was, quite a challenge. Then I started to teach online. The spirit was guiding me, saying that if you need to put this online because there are lots of people out there who want to learn it, but cannot take the time out from their families and travel somewhere. So it was in 2013 that I started to teach. My first class had only one student, and I'm so grateful to him. But I've been since teaching regularly for multiple years now. Every year I teach at least 2 or 3 courses online. And so here I am now. I also have been mentoring a number of my students. That is more or less. I've been on the board of SRA. I've been on the education committee. I've been on several committees, including the the one that brings out the publications. I forget. It's called ICSC. I forget what it stands for. But now I am just a simple teacher, and I teach, and I love teaching.
Great.
Okay.
So, with the guidance of high self and spirit, we will introduce this subject today. It's called Embodying the Practice of SRT. But shall we start with a meditation? What do you think?
Yes,
Shall
absolutely.
you guide us?
Yes, most certainly. Okay, so the topic for today is, as Viviana already told you, embodying the practice of SRT. This body is a very, very important thing. So the idea is to bring that into the practice. We oftentimes ignore it. It doesn't serve us well when we ignore it. So let's go ahead and do a little meditation. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. If you're holding on to anything, just put it down and put your hands on your lap, facing up. And as you take that deep breath to connect with the body, so let's start with the practice of connecting with the body. As you take that breath, just connect with your, let's start at the top of the head and just breath by breath, travel down, face, ears, neck and shoulders. And let that breath come into a very even pace. No rush to the next part. No need to push out the breath, no need to pull the breath with effort, just easy, natural, normal breath. But the attention is going down the torso to the lower abdominal area. the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves and the ankles and the feet. And we're going to do a little bit of a practice in this meditation. I want you to think of something that has recently made you upset or angry or anxious or a little insecure. Just briefly bring that into your mind. Anything. What is happening in the world? Maybe you had a bitter word with somebody close to you. And when you bring that to your mind, I want you to notice what the body is doing, what the breath is doing. And now we're going to let that go. Now we're going to let that go. We're going to breathe in. Just in your mind, set the intention. I let go of this bad feeling, this anxiety, this fear, this insecurity, this anger, whatever it is. I'm going to hand this over to Spirit. And I ask Spirit to take it, cleanse me. And now I'm going to ask you to bring your attention to your heart center, sternum area, center of the chest, right next to the physical heart, your heart energy center. And as you take the next few breaths in, pretend that you're bringing the energy of the world into your heart. You're bringing all the energy from spirit to the earth and everything in between. You're breathing it into your heart center. And as you exhale, pretend that you're sharing your beauty, your wonderful connection with spirit, your love from the heart, and it's radiating out to the world. So think of something that you dearly love, a person, maybe a pet, maybe a place, maybe a food item, maybe an activity. It doesn't matter what, but something, think of something that brings great joy to your love, to your heart. Something that tells you, oh, life is good. I want to be here. I want to participate. I want to share. Breathe those thoughts in. I want to give. I wish to receive. And notice how the body is feeling. Notice your breath as you breathe. And just relax into that loving space and into those loving intentions and the body. So we're going to thank Spirit for taking away all that anxiety and reminding us that we are here to love. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. And come back into this space. So I would be very keen to know from a few of you, maybe 2 or 3 of you, if you noticed anything in the body shift from when you were upset and angry and stressed to when you went to your loving space. What did you notice? Anyone? I think you can raise your hand, right? Viviana, you'll have to allow them in.
I noticed I have a sciatic hip thing going on, and it intensified quite a bit when I had that memory, and then it went away, went during the release. So that was, so, you know, literally that event was kind of a pain in the ass, you know, there it is.
Right. So it went away. And in what was that, about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe?
Yeah. But so it's an ongoing thing. And as long as that, so I have to learn how to not hold negative energy.
Yeah.
Because I have to
So
continually.
that's exactly what this session is about. Thanks so much for sharing, Angela. Okay. Anybody else wants to go and just would love to hear. Don't be shy, people. Did you notice any shift taking place when your mind is in a place of anxiety and when you consciously say, Spirit, take this away, and breathe that space of love?
Dean, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed was my breathing got a lot shallower, and I felt it closing in my chest. So that was the sensation I noticed when I thought of the event that was causing anxiety. And thank you, Spirit, for letting go of that. That was great.
And then afterwards?
Yes, wonderful.
Open and deeper breath.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very interesting.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
Angie.
Angie.
You have to unmute yourself, sweetie.
Hi. Well, for me, it was beautiful. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope we can have a copy of this meditation. It's just amazing. What I really noticed is this beautiful surrender that happened when you mentioned that. Just let it go to spirit. Truly, it was like, I don't need to do anything. I didn't need to do work about it. I just let it go and let spirit in. So that was beautiful. It's really like this. It was from construction to expansion, which is perfect because it's something that I've been in the process of working this month. I feel it's like the theme of surrendering. The deeper I surrender, the more supported I am. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for sharing. I do appreciate your coming up. Okay, so shall we move on? Does anybody else have any wonderful thing to share? Otherwise, we will continue. So this is what I mean by embodying the practice of SRT. You know, you have all studied SRT. You know the power of it. You have been able to practice it, and I'm sure experience has been like it was for me when I started with SRT. Sometimes without even realizing the person that you're working on, whether it is yourself or somebody else, there would be extraordinary relief. You'll do a clearing and the person will come back to you and will say that, wow, that was like magic. I don't know what you did, but I feel like a different person. And there would be other times when here you are with your pendulum and you're trying to work, and the pendulum will not move. And it's just like, oh, something and somebody is holding it down. And then you get frustrated and you say, oh, I have got dark energies interfering here. There are extra souls and multiple souls and all of that, which is absolutely something that happens when we learn to practice SRT. Now, one of the things I have discovered in my own journey with SRT, and it took me a few years, honestly, to come to the realization of it, is that we get so concerned about the steps. How do I begin? What should I say? What is the question I need to ask? What is the protocol? Which chart do I need to go to? All this is very important. I don't want to for a moment say that we don't need to do that. But before we do that, there is the prep to work. And that, to me, is the central piece of SRT, spiritual response therapy. If our prep to work is solid, if we have learned to do a prep which is absolutely foolproof, which is well within the space that we have created for the healing, and it is protected, shielded, all the download is coming in there, then everything else that follows will be really, really effective. Sometimes it's going to blow your mind. Oh my goodness, such a big shift happened. But the trick that I discovered to having an absolutely strong, clear prep to work is training the body to feel that, to understand when I am in alignment, when my pendulum is giving me correct answers. How does the pendulum feel when that happens? How to tell, I'm getting yes, but there is something happening in the way my pendulum feels or the way my pendulum is moving, which is telling me that it may not be clear. So these sensitivities we have to develop. Now, I studied with Robert Detzler. Robert was extremely well connected with spirit. He never had to even think about this. He would just say, Father and I am one, are one, and boom, he would channel, because he was he was a pastor and a minister of the church. So he had many years of that practice. Not all of us come from that spiritual background, right? But we have come here because we believe that because there is an inner thirst that I want to be aligned with spirit. I wish to communicate with that wonderful energy. I want my questions to be answered properly, right? So what I'm suggesting is that we need to then also take the trouble to spend a little time sensitizing our body to spirit's presence. How do we do that would be our next question, right? So I wish I could say it's really simple, but it can be very simple. So this little meditation that I just did with you, where you surrender. Now, Robert's prayer used to be, Spirit and I are one. He also used to say, and we work as a team. But I have a friend who is actually on this call today, Linda. One day she says, if Spirit and I are one, what is this business about being a team? We are one, there is no separation here. And I said, yeah, you're right. So the prayer is, Spirit and I are one. Even though I can say that, even when she said that, and I thought I saw the logic of it, but when I said Spirit and I are one, it took me a long time to be able to actually feel that feeling coming through me, that ease of the body, that expansion, that love flowing. So because, we have always been told as we were growing up, and even, our parents and grandparents, that we have to make ourselves worthy to even be able to talk to spirit. So there's a great deal of forgiveness of the self that has to go in. So I can say spirit and I are one, but there is a little distance that I have to cover in order to come to closer and closer, step by step, to that oneness. And what I would like to do is to give you some tools, some tips as how you can get close to it. What I would like to suggest to you is that if you have your pendulums in your hands, go ahead and do a quick prep to work and ask the question, the prayer that I say to be one, to be aligned with spirit and my high self, to what percent am I embodying it? When I say that I'm in alignment with spirit, or I say whatever my prayer is, like mine is spirit and I are one, what percent are all the cells in my body have come into alignment with that vibration? And you'll get an answer. So I'll wait a few minutes for you to do that. And to tell you honestly, I've been practicing this for many years and I still do it. When I ask this question and I actually take a number chart and chart, it's rare that I get 100. I'll get 80, 85, 90, 95, 98 sometimes. And then I go, okay, there is a part of me that doesn't want to surrender. So then I sit back and I take a deep breath and I say, I give to you, spirit, whatever it is that I'm holding here that is not allowing me to be 100% in alignment with you. I offer it back to you. Please bring me in alignment. And sometimes I have to meditate for a few minutes before I can come to that place. But when I come to that place, it's absolutely, I can tell because I've learned the body sensations. My shoulders relax. My breathing relaxes. I have deep breaths. And in my mind, I have this feeling of, you don't have to worry, Malabika. Step aside. Let spirit do the work. And my pendulum feels light and easy. And then I know that, okay, I'm ready to work now. Okay. So some of the things that we have to do is that, how do you know that you still need to work at being able to embody? Because this embodiment thing is not an easy thing. We have to practice. Because here I will start always, before I start an SRT clearing, before I start any kind of work actually of spiritual nature, before I start a class, for instance, I will always take a few minutes to do this, to connect, align myself. You have all the protocol, you have the step-by-step, how to do the prep. You have the first item that you ask spirit, then the next, etc. What I would suggest to you is that, I think in the formal handout, it says, say a prayer, like Father and I, Spirit and I are one, we work as a team. Whether that is your prayer or whether you have something else, it doesn't matter. The prayer is there. Mine is Spirit and I are one. What I suggest you do is, before you go into asking the other questions, which is, how much time will it take, Spirit, for my high self to get prepped, etc., as it's given, you take a few minutes there and you do this little exercise. You take a nice deep breath. Notice how the body is feeling. You don't have to do the negative part. That was only to demonstrate to you that there is a difference. And then you think of something you love, somebody you love. It is the easiest way. It is the easiest way to open up your heart and allow spirit to come in, because you've just made space. And spirit is all about love. SRT is all about love. It comes from source. So you just ask. So I don't know whether you know this little secret of SRT or any spiritual work for that matter. The underlying principle is ask and it is given. Simple. Ask and it is given. If it is not coming, that means we are holding all kinds of blocks. And the whole clearing of SRT is to clear those blocks, right? So we ask, Spirit, keep me in alignment. And here I'm opening up. So there's a part of me, as I take that breath, there's a part of me which is saying, I'm getting my body ready to receive you within me. Come, be here, work with me. And then you'll feel that sensation, remember it. It'll be very subtle in the beginning. After a while, it'll become quite, you can't miss it, prominent. You have felt it. Some of you who've been practicing SRT for a long time know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you may need to work at it a little more. So one is, first of all, ask. Invite spirit and ask, align me. The second thing you have to do is surrender. Big, beautiful word, very, very important. I surrender to your will. I hand over to you anything that is keeping me from being aligned with you. Now, what are the things that keeps us from being aligned with spirit? Most of the time, it is self-limiting beliefs. It's guilt. It's thinking of myself is that I'm not worthy, unworthiness. I don't deserve this. All kinds of things. This is not in your mind, by the way. These are all in your subconscious. But those subconscious programs will not allow. I mean, of course, you can always, do the clearing once you've been aligned with your high self. But even to align with high self, we need to get to a place of complete surrender. Spirit, at this time, I really don't know what it is that is keeping me from not being able to receive you 100%. I surrender all that to you. All my fears, all my anxieties, all my worries, all my self-limiting beliefs. Please take it. And help me work with you so that I can serve. I am doing this on your behalf to serve the world, to serve my clients, to help myself. That is the intention, isn't it? Why do we learn SRT? So that we can serve. We can make it available for higher vibrations. So first thing, ask. Second thing is surrender. And the third in this is the breath. Whatever you have asked for, it is your breath that will bring that energy into the body. So when we are talking about embodiment, your breath is your friend. So sometimes when you've been in really not a good place, I see this happen a lot of the times with people who do SRT, is that I feel terrible. I need to do a clearing. It's almost like, let me take charge over here and let me clear this stuff out of my life. All right, come on, spirit. Come on, high self. Help me do this. What happens is that we can't do it from that space. There's too much ego there. The pendulum may say that your ego is less than 3%, but we are not aligned. for that answer to come correctly to us. Before we can get the answer correctly, we have to relax this body completely. We have to relax this mind completely. We have to take those breaths and say, I'm in a place of surrender. Here is my breath. My body now feels different. When the body feels different, now I can pick up the pendulum and say, all right, spirit, can you tell me what program am I carrying that makes this come back over and over again? And I see a lot of the times, people get frustrated saying, I can't move forward because my pendulum is not giving me correct answers. So then I suggest to them, well, don't be in a rush. This work cannot be done in a rush. You have to step back, connect with the body and the breath, connect with self-love. You have to love yourself. You can't hold on to a whole lot of feelings of I'm not worthy, I feel so badly, I don't know enough, I can't do enough. Spirit can't come through you because you are created in the image and likeness of spirit. Everything that the light holds, you can hold. So a lot of the times we have to clear our belief system in order to be able to move that. But very practically, that little meditation, think of something that you love, breathe it in, allow the body, then feel the body. When you feel that expansion, when you feel that lightness, then you go on to doing your prep to work. That's when, we start working with the higher levels, we create the shield, we set our intention, we make sure that all the spiritual friends and family and the committees, they're all in the same wavelength. We put make sure that we put a shield around it so that in the ocean of consciousness, the space where we are working, stays clear. All that comes later. But first thing, the body must know. The body must be open. And what will do it? Your thinking, where are you placing your attention? And your breath. If you tell yourself, I can't do this, then that's going to be your reality. If you tell yourself, no, spirit is helping me to do this. I have asked. My prayer is being answered. My high self is showing me the way. You'll be able to do it. Absolutely, without a doubt, I guarantee you. You have to be patient sometimes. Sometimes it'll come just like that. Okay, there are a couple more things that I want to say, which is after which we may stop and, if you have questions, then I'll be very happy to address those. So I'm going to actually do a little bit of clearing right now for this group over here. And I'm going to ask Spirit to clear all blocks that we are collectively holding to allow Spirit into our life, not just into our lives, into our minds and into our bodies. The mind is open because we have invited Spirit, but it is usually the subconscious mind which restricts the body. So everybody's high self, I invite to work with Spirit at this time to allow a greater connection with Spirit. Nice deep breath. Okay, if you feel like it, go ahead and check once again. Where were you when you started, when you first did that checking? And did that change at all? And so a few other tips that I want to give about this is that just like practice makes perfect, it really helps to say that prayer over and over again. A lot of the times I will tell my students, just keep saying, Spirit and I are one. Spirit and I are one. So you're doing something and something happens and you get very disappointed. And you want to, you start feeling upset. And they take a nice deep breath. Spirit and I are one. How would Spirit react to that? And immediately you're reminded, right? You come back. It'll still take work. It'll still take a while. But over a period of time, what happens is you wake up in the morning, you do a little prep to work. This is another suggestion. I said, like a morning prayer, you do a prep and set the intention through the day, Spirit, be by me. And anytime you find something that is happening, it's like, oh, that hip pain came back. Deep breath, Spirit and I are one. Spirit is showing me how to clear that. So there is a faith, there is a surrender, there is a complete trust. Like a child, when the child tells mommy, I'm hungry, give me something to eat. I don't think the child ever doubts that food will come. In exactly that childlike innocence, we have to have, okay, Spirit, I really need your help to show me how I can deal with this thing that keeps coming up in my life over and over again. And we are fortunate to have this set of charts, which gives us the guidance. Clear this program, go in this, look at that, do this release statement. Yeah. So all that comes, the first thing that comes is let's align with Spirit and let's ask that for that what we want, and let's start feeling it in the body. So ask. That is the fourth point. The first point was the prayer. Second point was figure out something, breathe in love. The third point was set the intention, surrender, set the intention. The fourth one is I forget this one that I just talked about. Repeat. Keep saying your prayer over and over again, whether you're doing SRT or not, because if you have signed up to do SRT and practice SRT, means deep inside you, there is this thirst to work with Spirit for well-being, for your personal well-being, as well as for your family and your friends and for your clients when you do a practice, right? What else is there? Remember that every time we get into a negative sentiment, any kind of space which makes us upset, angry, want to blame, we are in victimhood. You already know that. And the soul work cannot be done from a place of victimhood. Glinda, just give me a moment. Let me just finish and we'd love to hear from you. Yeah. So you cannot work with Spirit when you're feeling like a victim, because then Spirit and you are not one. There is a separation. That separation creates the victimhood, right? So I have the power to channel Spirit, because when I'm surrendered to Spirit, the wisdom comes, the direction comes. I'm shown where to go, because my body is the pendulum. This instrument is just a magnifier. This one is not giving me the answer. This body is giving me the answer. This is why this body needs to be at a neutral space. This body needs to be completely open and relaxed. So when the little subtle answers come from Spirit, that can get translated and magnified by this. So on a routine basis is what I suggest. Go ahead, say the prayer every day. And during the day, whatever it is that I'm doing, it doesn't matter what my job is. When I'm teaching, whether I'm in a manufacturing organization, in management, it doesn't matter. Whatever I'm doing in alignment with you, Spirit. The channels open up. whether I'm doing a spiritual SRT clearing or not, you'll find the SRT clearing becomes much quicker, much more efficient, and very effective. All right, I'm going to stop here now. And I think, Viviana, you're going to moderate the, Glinda wanted to share something. We can start with her.
I think she was writing it, but if you
Yeah,
want
this
to,
is something it's not something that I want to say. It's a piece that I was writing out, and spirit was just, it just came through me like, they need to see this. So I'm gonna write it here in the messages
Okay.
so that everyone can have it and keep it. But that's it.
Okay. All right.
thank you.
So, okay, it's not come through. Okay. All right. So anybody else has a question or a comment, or even if you want to share a experience that you've had where you've been able to move from one side of the spectrum to the other with ease, I think everybody would be interested in hearing. Don't be shy, people.
Malabika, I just
Angela,
want to say
yeah,
that
yeah.
you're, I'm brand new, by the way. Like I just started. I feel like I'm a little baby who just started. But Malabika is such a great teacher. And I just, yeah, I'm great feelings with this. Like and when you, I don't know, just everything you said tonight was great. And I ended at 90%, and I'm so like proud of myself because it didn't start out at that at all. So I don't know, just it's, I'm just so grateful. That's all.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Katie. Yeah. Anybody else? Coco, yours clapping. Gabby, she has written saying,
Yeah, she says, I always get a problem with getting the wrong answers, and sometimes I get afraid.
oh, I'm curious about the fear. What is making you afraid? The wrong answer I can understand.
Yeah, hi. No, it's because sometimes, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's because sometimes it feels like, I don't know, it's hard to, sometimes it takes a longer time to clear everything.
Yeah, that's right, you know, and that's why we have to practice this, like doing an exercise. You know, when we exercise and strengthen our muscles, then we become stronger. Similarly, that is why when you practice, Spirit and I are one, whether or not you're doing your SRT, and you practice breathing in love and letting it flow through yourself, then it's going to be much easier for you to jump into that space of strength and connection with spirit. The other thing, Gabby, I tell people is that when you don't get right answers and you know that you're getting interference, something is happening, I always suggest take time, take a pause. Take a pause, put your pendulum down, set it aside. Don't go like, I got to get this done. You can't, sweetheart, because that's the ego speaking. You have to put it down, take a pause, go for a walk, you know, listen to some music, take a little time, get into that loving space. Ask yourself, what will bring the love back up into my heart? It may be, you know, that remember that time when I was standing on top of a cliff and I saw the sun go down, and that majesty of that scenario always makes me feel life is so good. Well, go back there in your imagination and you think of yourself as standing and watching the sun go down, and breathe it in and say, you are magnificent, spirit. Absolutely. My life is so wonderful. And breathe that in. That's your embodiment. Breathe it into your body. You will feel that expansion. You'll feel that exhilaration like the first time you saw it. That is the energy you want to bring. Now from that space, say, all right, spirit, I was getting really frustrated earlier. Can I now be aligned with my high self and you? Let me ask that question again. Where do I need to go to find the program? So always make sure that you are in a good mind body space, light, and your pendulum will feel very light and easy when you're in that space. Don't be afraid. Afraid means what? Afraid means, I'm guessing you're saying that, oh, there are some powers out there that are not allowing me to do my work. They have more power than I do. That's the wrong tree to climb. Because spirit and I are one. I work with spirit. There is no power out there which is stronger than this. If something appears to be stronger than this, I must have momentarily dimmed the light that is going through me. I love and accept myself. I forgive myself. I'm here. I'm going to breathe spirit right in here. Take that breath. The breath is very important to get into that space, because the breath is what will help you relax the body, the muscles, to be able to bring that thought, the vibrations of that intention into the body.
Here we have a comment.
Okay.
What do you think about clairsentience? I use this as a guide to what needs to be cleared. Easy when working on others, not so much with myself. We're that way. But I think I need to surrender more in those cases.
Absolutely. You're right on, Angela. You are very intuitive. I know that. So, and you do have clairsentience. There is a knowing, there's an intuitive knowing. Yeah. So I think my thing is that the person that we are most critical of is, guess who? The self. Because it's really, these are old programs, for all kinds of reasons. So self-acceptance and self-love is work, is from a conscious level, to be able to see all the places that I'm, falling short, being unkind, thinking unkind thoughts, it's very easy to see and then put ourselves down. But so we really have to practice radical forgiveness for the self. Yeah. And that's what will carry us through.
We have the message of Linda.
Yeah, go ahead and read that, Viviana.
It's beautiful. God has created me to do some definite service. Some work has been entrusted to me, which has not been given another. I have my mission. I may never know it
In this life.
in this life, but I shall be told in the next. I have a part in a great work. I am a link in a chain, a bond of connection between persons. He has not created me for naught. I shall love as Christ has loved. I shall do his work. I shall be an angel of peace, a preacher of truth in my own place while not intending it. If I do but keep his commandments and serve him in my calling. Therefore I will trust him. Whatever I am, I can never be thrown away. If I am in sickness, my sickness may serve him. In perplexity, my perplexity may serve him. If I am in sorrow, my sorrow may serve him. My sickness or perplexity or sorrow may be necessary causes of some great end, which is quite beyond me. He does nothing in vain. He may prolong my life. He may shorten it. He knows what he is about. My friends may be taken from me. I may be thrown among strangers. I may feel desolate. My spirits may sink. The future may be hidden from me. Still, he knows what he is about. John Henry Newman. Thank
Okay.
you, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is such a statement of faith, saying whatever you do, I know that there is a bigger reason behind it. Thank you, Glinda. The other thing he mentions over here, which is very important to know, that none of our challenges are in vain. Every challenge has within it a gift that we have to learn. If you have heard this saying, which says, if he has brought you to it, he will see you through it. In other words, we only have those challenges that we have the resources to overcome. And we do. That's how we get past in life. I mean, we may go kicking and screaming, but when we have faith like this John Henry person has said, then we don't have to go kicking and screaming. Then we can take our time, we can take the pause, we can breathe, we can surrender and say, where to next, Spirit? And go to the next step. Thanks so much. Beautiful.
Anybody else before we finish?
Any questions? Anybody needs any clarification?
Coco, she says, your words permeate my heart.
Oh, sweet. Good thing it got recorded. It'll be there. Very lovely. So one of the things I just want to repeat once again, the quality of your SRT clearing, the quality of your communication with Spirit and your high self is a direct function of how much you have been able to embody the beliefs, the words that you're speaking. How much is it coming from your heart and your mind, all in alignment? Dr. Wayne Dyer, you may have heard of him, he had a very simple technique. He used to say, when you're saying a prayer, say one word at a time and breathe it in. So I think I once heard him give the example of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father. No, this is like our, like you're talking about the collective, our, and then breathe that collectivity in. Our Father. The concept of the Father, the Almighty, the Source, breathe that in. Who art in heaven. So this whole idea of the heaven, what comes to my mind when I say heaven? I think heaven. Bring that in with the breath. Take a pause, bring it in. Hallowed be thy name. So you take little bits and pieces and pause and breathe it in. And in your SRT package, there is a prayer by Marianne Detzler, where she says, pause after every line. And that has got this, spirit. In the, I don't have it right in front of me, but there are 6 different paragraphs, and each paragraph addresses a particular aspect. And that one, she had suggested, you read one line and pause. And that pause is to let it permeate into your body. What a beautiful word that is, Coco, permeate. So try that and see if it helps with your SRT prep tour. This is all focused on prep tour. The research and all that is easy to do because that's all very mental and logical and follow the protocol. But to maintain this energy is the challenge. that's all I have, Viviana. If you want to add something,
I would like to thank you again, Malabika.
you're most
Thank you
welcome.
for your time, for your spirit, for all what you shared. For sure, it served us a lot and will stay in our hearts and souls.
Yeah, thank you.
That's for sure. I would like just to remind you about our phone line, about just in case if you can't schedule a session with someone, you can always call us. So you go to spiritualresponse.com and you can reach a consultant. So please take advantage of it and please recommend it to others. So thank you again, Malabika, and thank you all for your participation, for your spirit.
All right, let me also add a word saying, I have a website, visionholistic.net. I do have a newsletter. If you subscribe to the newsletter, I put out all my programs that are coming in the next period. I'm starting a monthly group to study consciousness. We have the first session on Saturday, the 29th. If you're interested, shoot me an email and I will tell you more.
Great.
Thank you for
Great.
the opportunity, Viviana.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
So good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Viviana.
Much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Viviana, Malabika,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.